What's going on, people? Welcome to the post-mortem, where we break down the game between Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United. Another away game where we do not win, another away game where we struggle, and our current away record when playing the current top nine: 0 wins, 1 draw, 6 losses, 8 scored, 27 goals conceded. It was literally like Sevilla in the first leg all over again. Chive, do you want to give us your thoughts on that match, first half, second half, whatever you want to kind of spiral off from?
Yeah, it's pretty much what you said. It just reminded me of the Sevilla game where we took the lead, looked really comfortable in the first half, and then I don't know if it was just a bout of complacency that just kind of came in because I could actually sense the goal like a minute before it happened.
Yeah.
When Christian Eriksen gets the ball in the opposition half, attempts like a weak sort of flick. And when he did that, I remember thinking these guys are getting complacent. Like they're way too comfortable. Like we just lost all the sense of urgency. And it was almost as if Tottenham sensed it. I'm sure I'm not the only one who felt that way. I'm sure there was, because it was like a moment, and it was almost as if the opposition also sensed it, and they just, you know, clicked. And as soon as that goal came in, it was literally a matter of time. Like I just knew it. Like it was, I was like, we're not walking away with the 3 points,
Mm.
even though we could have, but because we missed a few chances. But it was like first half comfortable, plain sailing. Second half comes in, something happens. The manager makes changes because, and recently, I don't really get the change. Some of the changes he makes. It's been a
Do you
bit
think it's fatigue reasons, though? Like, I think it's easier for people to look at it and be like,
yeah.
why bring him off when he's doing this? Why bring it? We did play 120 minutes against Brighton plus penalties, didn't we? So,
100%. There's a lot of things. I can only just judge it from what I see.
yeah.
From my point of view, I really can't tell what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe the players are tired. Yes, we played, against Brighton. We haven't had a rest. I think the only time we had a week off since the 29th of December was the international break. And some players actually went to play for their
Yeah,
for
towards the
club.
end of February, was it? Is that right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere near that period.
Yeah, but we haven't had a week off. So yeah, it could be fatigue, it could be fitness. Bruno didn't look fit, Rashford didn't look 100%. So it could be one of those things. But it was always going to be a big ask to come and win here after Tottenham has suffered that humiliating
Yeah.
defeat. They've got a new manager to come in. The crowd is right behind them. It was a huge ask. But yeah, I mean, a draw is not it's not a disaster at the end of the day. So
It's not a disaster, is it, Sam? But in hindsight, when you look that we took the lead, we went 2-0 up in the first half, and then just to give it away like that, it was quite literally. I know the old adage is a game or two harsh, but that is the exact description for that game, isn't it?
Yeah, like Chivy said, first half professional, good. Looked like we were putting them to the sword. No sort of real worries. Couple of like chances for Spurs, but beyond that, absolutely fine. You think second half, come out, score another goal, maybe 2, kill the game, 3 points, get all your subs in, get all the people that you need to get off to get rested, and it's job done. Second half comes out, first 10 minutes, we just absolutely shit the bed and just decide to make it interesting, let Spurs back in the game.
Yeah.
And then from then, we just sort of continually got worse. There was the one chance with Bruno hitting the bar, but apart from that, we didn't really threaten in that second half at all. And all our players, the quality seemed to drop so much. Like players like Casemiro, Malacia came on and was awful. Fred was awful. Rashford lost his touch. There was so many things that just didn't click that they were in the first half. So it was surreal to see in the second half. And it might be to do with tiredness. It may well be, and I think it's definitely a factor. But there's something going on here with like the top 8 teams where we go away and we just can't seem to get the job done, like ever. It's a really weird thing.
It's described as like a mental block in it. There's just something there, whatever it is, whether it's the atmosphere that gets on the back when they start getting a little bit nervy, whether it's the looking back over the shoulder and the thinking, this has happened in so many previous games, it's going to happen again. Just what players stood out for you, Chivy, for maybe the right reasons and the wrong reasons? Who do you think was more on the good side of performance? Who was more on the bad side for you?
Luke Shaw, 100% was.
Oh yeah, unbelievable. I couldn't stop saying his name during the game. I was like, he's been fantastic, especially in the first half.
I mean, he's becoming a man now. Like he's actually
Absolutely
to a mature player. It wasn't just the defending, it was the decision making, his timing of the runs. He was effective. This is what we really miss with Lisandro, being able to influence the game from an attacking perspective, from a central defensive position. And Luke Shaw has just come in and literally just taken that position as his. And I remember thinking in the first half, I was like, Jesus, if this was Maguire and Lindelof. No, seriously, and I'm not taking a dig at Maguire. I'm just saying.
It's true though.
Now I understand why the manager needs a left-footed, ball-playing centre-back.
Balance,
right? Mm. And look what he does. He makes Lindelof look really, really good. So I mean, Luke Shaw was my favorite player. Yes, Fred came on and was horrible, but I'm worried about Casemiro. He hasn't been putting in good performances over the last couple of games.
Sluggish
in his tackling. You can see he's trying to, he's attempting those long passes, but it's not the same. And I don't know whether it's a mental thing. Ever since he had that second red card, he has not come back. We haven't seen that.
I fully agree with that, bro. Completely.
Yeah. Ever since that second, and I remember he was almost in tears when he got the card, and I was like, I hope this guy is able to have the character to be able to overcome this, but I don't know what it is. And it's a bit worrying because we don't have any direct replacement for that. And after watching Man City yesterday, bro,
we're in trouble. We're in trouble,
bro. After watching Man City yesterday and seeing how decisive they are, I mean, it's not just what's so crazy about them. It's not, individually they're brilliant players, but then they play as a team, and all the decision making is it's insane.
Differences though, Chivet. Sorry to interrupt you there. Differences though, when they bring players off the bench, even though they're already 2-1 up, 3-1 up, whatever it is, when they bring players off the bench, they brought Foden on, didn't they? They brought Mahrez on, and then I can't remember Julian Alvarez on. We're bringing Weghorst on, we're bringing Fred on, and we're bringing Malacia. Now, Malacia is a bright talent. He's had his patches, but he was dreadful when he came on. Fred was one of the worst sub cameos I've ever seen in my life. He was horrendous, simple 5-yard passes. If a player from City's team did that, even when he was 3-1 up, he'd probably get subbed back off again by Pep if he was doing that putting in that kind of performance. It was so bad. And it's frustrating because the first half, I was actually leaning towards saying that's probably our best away performance in a while and that I can remember, to be honest. The way we was moving the ball about, Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes just completely dictating the game. It didn't seem like there was any worries. It was just the odd time when he was getting in on that. It seemed like the left channel, Sam, where Wan-Bissaka was at. That seemed like a problem area, didn't it?
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka I thought was really good for the first half. I thought he was on it, got all of his tackles right, was really good in the attacking third. And in the second half, he just seemed to struggle. I don't know what happened, in between those halves, but the second half, he was just getting done every single time by Pedro Porro, wasn't he? He was just getting torn apart on that side, and it was so obvious that that was an issue. And then obviously Ten Hag wanted to try and fix that, so he brings him off, puts Dalot at right back and Malacia on. And that just seemed to make things worse, if anything.
I thought Dalot was good when he moved over to that right.
But Malacia was terrible.
But Malacia
you took Dalot, who was doing all right on left back, put him to right back to sort that problem, but then you bring in another problem here in the left back area, and Malacia was terrible. So he just wasn't functioning as a team. And I think Chivy's right with the tiredness and stuff like that, but also the lack of squad depth. Who's Ten Hag meant to bring on? Do you know what I mean? Who's he meant to bring on? Elanga? Palestri? Weghorst? You know what I mean? There's not many game winners on that bench. There's no Garnacho on that bench. There's no sort of match winner on that bench. It's a tough decision, so he had to change something, but it didn't work because Fred had an absolutely awful game, and I thought Malacia had an awful game when he came on.
Mate, I remember saying at the start of January, and I was like, these guys are going to look like White Walkers by the end of the season. The way the amount of games that they're playing, that just dragging their bodies across the line. And it feels like it's getting worse and worse with each game that goes by and each week that goes by. It's just going to get to the end, and they're all just like, mate, we need more than a month off or 2 months off. It's becoming very, very evident now in the second half of games. And
we need a squad, and we don't have one.
Yeah.
Like, we've got an 11 that's really good, and beyond that, not many.
I can't remember starting our last 11 though, like full strengths,
No,
because we had so many injuries, suspensions. But this, that, like, I can't remember frequently playing with our strongest 11
But this
over
is
a
what I mean.
course of like.
Our,
You know what I
our
mean?
core 11, say 13 players, is really strong. But that's it. We don't have any other rotation options. So it's like we play them into the ground, and then with these injuries have started happening because Ten Hag doesn't rotate. He likes to play his strongest team, I think, because of lack of options. So he plays him into the ground. We've got injuries to Varane, Lissandro. Bruno was a doubt. Rashford's been out. Shaw was out for a little bit. So they get played into the ground, get injured, and then we don't have the options to rotate in the first place, so they don't get injured. And then when they are injured and we're forced to make a change, the quality is shocking. So it's between a rock and a hard place, really. So he needs investment in the squad to get in decent players who can rotate with, so we don't have these injuries happen. And also, when he can change things in a game when it's not working like it was in the second half, he can change things and make a difference. That's where we're at right now.
Chivy, you mentioned before about Casemiro when you're a little bit worried about him. I think there's a couple of players who are having this kind of roller coaster dips in forms. I mentioned Eriksen when I was on Paddock. I was speaking to Jay about that, about how his off the ball work was fantastic. His off the ball work is struggling, and he's a little bit of a threat with that in terms of like when teams are coming against us. But on the ball, he's fantastic. But I thought Anthony, the past couple of weeks, we've been kind of singing his praises, saying like, oh, it looks like he's. Do you know what I mean? Like, it looks like he's starting to become the player we all expected. And then I thought today he was just like, again, like frustrating shit.
Yeah, you. That was another player that really disappointed me offensively.
Yep.
Defensively, he did well. I was pleased with that, but we need more than that. We need just more than just defensive contribution. And what really stood out for me with Anthony was. And I think this is just him coming to terms with the English game. And I'm not making excuses for him, but especially like in the first like 10, 15 minutes, I noticed this a lot when we were like on the break and then he gets the ball and then he takes an extra 3 seconds to like make a decision. And if you notice, Tottenham were literally 10 men in the box.
Yeah.
Every single time. So all that time that he'd waste, he'd have Wan-Bissaka running next to him, or he'd have Bruno opening up, and he's just there dilly-dallying. And while he's doing that, Tottenham are just setting up again defensively. And it was literally, I was so mad. I was like really screaming here because I just let go of the ball. So I'm willing to be patient and allow him the rest of the season, pre-season. Hopefully, he gets a bit more rhythm with his players, with the players around him. But these are just simple decisions that you could make and just create chances.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, really frustrated me. It's just, he makes up for all these things defensively. But we need more than that. And I really can't wait to have Ahmad come in and put some pressure on, honestly, and put some pressure
competition. Just provide some competition, innit?
That's just keep him on his toes because he doesn't really have any competition on the left hand.
Who's going to play there? Literally no one.
Yeah. He doesn't. Jadon Sancho's not really a competition for him because Sancho is more playing on the left, and even if he wanted, so we need someone to keep him on his toes because Ahmad's decision making. Anyway, I'm not even going to go into Ahmad. Let's just leave that. But
it'd be nice to have an aerial threat as well, to be honest, to be able to put the ball into the box and have something different offered, because I feel like whenever we did get it to the flanks on the side, there was no one to hit in the box. So a lot of times we drive in with it. You saw Rashford doing it, you saw Jadon Sancho doing it, and that's where the first goal came from, Sam. We've actually got something positive to speak about where it feels like it's a little bit doom and gloom at the minute. But Jadon Sancho's finish was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, the great start. Like, you're thinking, when he scores that goal, you're thinking, oh, is this going to be a repeat of Newcastle? They've conceded 7 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it was in. Great little cut in from Jadon Sancho. That's what he does, doesn't he? He gets the ball, he'll cut directly and invert into the box, cut it onto his other foot, and then put it away. and that's what he did. It was quite similar to the not the Liverpool goal. I can't remember.
Leicester, was it?
Might be the Leicester goal. He sort of cuts it, doesn't he, and then just buries it in this thing.
The run from Eriksen makes it though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
because he drags the defender out.
So it was like, and you're like, here we go. That we've started off well, and I think this is we're gonna kick on from there. We did for the rest of that half. It seemed like we were in it for the rest of the half. There was a couple of opportunities that Spurs had, but nothing like massive. There was one good save from David De Gea from the corner with the post. But apart from that, I thought we looked solid.
Yeah. And then Rashford's goal as well, Chivy, against Mr. Eric Diazapan, just absolutely smoked him there. Just sent him for two basically, and a great finish on his left foot, weak foot.
Yeah, typical. Right? And you know, when he got into that position, like I kind of just knew, because I think who was it? Was it Eric Dyer? I don't remember the defender.
Eric Diazapan. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, just literally go ahead, have a go, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah. What do you think on Rashford's performance today? Just an added question.
It's difficult, especially for strikers. When you play a team like this that just sit back and just crowd the defense. So there was lots of times where he was outnumbered, but Rashford did a lot of Rashford things today, where he kind of just has this tunnel vision where when he gets the ball, he's not looking beside him.
Yeah.
There were a few times, especially in the second half, some of the decisions that he made were just like, what are you thinking? But then you just know that he gets the ball and he just has one thing on his mind where he wants to find a chance, to shoot. But you can easily, have players come in. Typical example would be when the ball Bruno, I think the ball kind of bounces on his chest and he just goes.
Volley. Yeah.
Yeah. But then he doesn't realize that Marshall has literally opened the path, has ran beside him, and all he needed to do was literally just slip it in there. And Marshall could have either taken a shot or cut back. But it's a Rashford thing. I'm used to. I'm tired of getting mad at that, because I'll just.
Do you know what it's like, when the cat sees a pigeon and they're just so fixated on it, if nothing else is going on in their world, it's just that's what I want and that's what he does. And people are around. You got Bruno, Martial, pieces of the puzzle. Where Sancho does look for that. The kind of opposite ends of the spectrum in that kind of way. Sometimes Sancho needs to be a little bit more selfish. Sometimes, Rashford needs to do the thing there. So we go into the
What did you think
of Rashford?
Yeah.
I thought there was bits and pieces that was nice, because, like you said, it is difficult when they've got that many men back. He was dropping, he was linking and playing. It looked a little bit. He was more involved in the game first and foremost, which is what I want to see from him. Because one of my criticisms of him over the past couple of weeks is, he pops up with a goal every most of the time, but he's quiet as fuck. You don't hear anything from him all game unless when he does score. So he was involved more, which I liked. But it is still levels to go for Rashford for me. Like you said, there's still criticisms of him, and that'll come with development and coaching and time and patience, like we said with Anthony as well. We started the second half, Sam, the only way to describe it is sluggish, isn't it? Slow, sluggish, sloppy. And then their first goal comes from what we was alluding to before with Wan-Bissaka. The amount of space for Perisic was unbelievable. He had about 30 yards around him. I was screaming at the TV. I was like, how many times are you going to let this happen? There was something with Wan-Bissaka at the back post or near that area sometimes, but he tucks in a lot and just completely forgets about the space behind him. We've spoken about it so many times, and their goal comes from that, Sam. What was it? Panic stations for you then when that goes in?
Yeah, it didn't look right when we it kicked off the second half. It just didn't look right. We looked lackadaisical. We looked like we weren't on it and sharp anymore. It was like we'd played 120 minutes in the first half, not 45. We looked knackered. Just couldn't get on the ball. Just passing was sloppy. Casemiro's passing was shocking. And just couldn't get on the ball. Weren't affecting the game the way we were. And then like you said, just Wan-Bissaka just getting exposed time and again on that side by Perisic. And eventually, if you do that enough for a team like Spurs, who've got decent attacking players, when they're on form, they can punish you, and they did. Got behind, goal across, and then it's in the back of the net, and you're like, they've scored 10 minutes into the second half, and they've made it a game now. When in the first half we were out of sight pretty much, and they weren't really in it. And now they've made it a game, and then that's what it became the second half. It was us scrambling and them looking for an equaliser and then trying for a winner. and that was it.
Well, they could have scored more, couldn't they, Chivy? I don't know if you remember the Eric Dyer chance where he's literally an open goal and you're like, oh my, how has he missed that? It's harder to miss than it is to actually score. Fred letting him wander into the box again since he came on. Him and Vegos came just basically just did nothing, to be fair. Like
him, Vegos and Malacia were just
terrible.
Constantly just out of position. We just lost our shape completely. And yeah, it was just porous. It just became so easy for Tottenham. You know what? We're quite lucky because Ryan Mason actually settled for a point later on in the game.
Yeah.
Like, towards the end, you could tell when they kind of sat off, and I was like, okay, he's going for a point. So that's when I kind of calmed down a bit. But by then it was too late.
Do you think both teams kind of settled in that? You know, you see when you see the subs.
No.
You don't think?
I think we went for it.
I don't know, but that like taking it.
I think the manager's plan was to go for it. Now, whether or not the players went along with it,
Yeah, whether they executed it or not, it's a completely different story.
But I think Ten Hag went for it because, like, he imagine this: we finished the game with Rashford, Martial,
Vegos.
Yeah, 3 strikers on there. He'd taken off Anthony for I don't remember who came.
That didn't make sense for me. He took off. No, he took off Sancho at first, which
Martial. Yeah.
Completely baffled me. I was like, why did they take Sancho's actually been okay? Like, I would have took Anthony off because he was poor. And then, yeah, Anthony comes off. Anthony Wan-Bissaka come off from Malacia and Vegos in the 70th minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, Tottenham did have a few chances. And I think we did well to defend as much as we could at that time. But then it was just lapse of concentrations that obviously led to those goals. But it's one of them ones, like I said, it was always going to be a big ask with the way we are playing now, the fatigue, and then with facing new manager bounce with Tottenham. It was going to be a huge ask. But
Some might have said in the preview, Sam, it could have been a banana skin.
Yeah, well, me and you did say that, didn't we? We said draw. I think did you say draw as well?
Yeah, I said either we scrape a 2-1 win or we draw.
Yeah, I think I said a 1-1 draw, and
and
then the first half I was like, completely wrong. I like that. I love the fact that
sun cream on, feet up, laughing.
And then I just second half it came out and I went, here we go. This is what I was actually expecting the entire game, and we just didn't.
Yeah, and then the inevitable happens, Kane to Son, which has happened so many times over the past years in Premier League. Mistakes.
Of course it happens to us. Like, it hasn't happened all season, but it happens to us. Of course it does.
Mistakes cost us, again, some individual players. When you watch that goal back, honestly, some of it was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Just giving goals away as per. But look, I think that that's summing up the game, to be honest. We discussed most events. I mean, one little bit was Bruno that nearly added a world-class goal where he just rolls it through the legs and it hits the bar. Do you guys remember that chance with Bruno? Tell me you do. Yeah, just double checking. If we would have scored that, it would have been like, whoa, and that would have been game over because I think it was 2-0 at that point, to be fair.
No, 2-1.
Was it 2-1, was it?
Yeah.
But it was literally immediately after the score.
Yeah, we went forward.
Yeah, because it was a reaction, wasn't it?
We just took it over there and then it was going to go in, but yeah.
Yeah. Right, let's just get into the ratings then, because it's getting late and it's 10 to 11, to be fair. And we'll dive through these quickly. If you're watching now or you're watching later on, please do get involved and give us your ratings in the comments section. And we'll start, as always, with David De Gea. I mean, it's the same thing again. I'm not going through it. He's puts in some good saves, but then the other side of his game sometimes is very frustrating. So I will just give him a standard C for today. Lads?
Same.
Yep.
Yeah, made a good save, but apart from that, do I have to mention his distribution?
Just don't. I just can't be asked with it.
No.
It's just expected now.
Save it for next game, because
Wan-Bissaka, C-, below par today. Perisic had him on toast.
First half he was good. I thought he was decent in the first half, and then second half.
That's why I've not gone as harsh with it,
and then,
because I thought he was okay, but
second half, fucking terrible.
Their first goal comes from him, in my opinion. I think it's terrible defending from him. So
no, I agree.
Yeah, C-. Lindelof and Shaw for me would probably have the better ratings. I thought them two again were solid considering the filling in, and they've hardly played together. I thought Shaw was the better of them both. So I would give Shaw personally maybe a B minus. I don't know if that's you would agree with
Yeah,
that.
I'd agree with that. I thought Lindelof wasn't shite, but he wasn't at Shaw's level, so I'd probably go C plus for Lindelof and then B
That's what I
minus
put.
for
Yeah,
Shaw.
so I put as well. Agreed, Javet. I won't keep you too long, Javet. I know you're ready for bed, mate.
No. But yeah, same. That's exactly how I would have rated it as well.
Yeah. Diego Dalot, what do we think? A bit of difference in it because obviously he went over to the right hand side. I thought he looked better on the right hand side. He was okay on the left. It wasn't outstanding, but did a relatively good job in considering when Malacia came on, the drop off was just fucking miles apart. But Dalot was just, I don't know, C for me.
Yeah, see, first half in particular, I remember he made some really important interceptions.
Yeah.
And yeah, everything just fell apart second half. C for me.
Yeah. Agreed, Sam?
Yeah, agreed.
Yep.
Average at best, I think.
Casemiro, C minus for me. Again, another one who's under par. Maybe even it could be a bit more harsh than that, to be
I'd
honest.
go D.
I don't know what's up with him, man. Honestly, don't know what is up with that guy. He was phenomenal for 2/3 of the season, and right now he's just like the drop off is insane, mate. Absolutely insane.
I think Chivy's right. I think he's been affected by all these suspensions and afraid of getting cards. And obviously he got that yellow, and he would have been suspended for the next. Was it Europa? Yeah, the Sevilla.
Yeah.
He would have been suspended for the semi-final. Obviously we didn't get there, but and yeah, I think he's been affected by that because since he's come back, he hasn't been the same guy. His passing hasn't been there. His touch hasn't been there. He's been wading out of tackles or being really clumsy with him.
Yeah, he's not even like marshalling, because back then you could see he was like in control, like pointing at Bruno to go there, or he's not even marshalling. There's no leadership. Like I don't see it, from him. But I don't know what's going on. Hopefully he can sort it out. I know it's not a physical thing. It definitely is mental.
Yeah.
So
I go
Yeah,
D.
it can't be a physical load because he's missed
He's
so many games.
He's not played.
Yeah, so he's actually had a rest.
Yeah, he could easily have been like in Dubai or Malaga, just chilling.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just D for me today. D.
Christian Eriksen, C plus. I thought he was first half in particular. Him and Bruno Fernandes, I thought were fantastic. You get what you get with Eriksen. Second half, drop off, gets subbed. Typical.
Yeah.
Fred comes on, does the absolute opposite performance.
Does the worst.
Yeah, I would give Eriksen C plus.
I'd probably say C because the first half was very good. Was involved in the first goal with Rashford, and then second half just completely dropped off a cliff and just didn't do anything, and then was replaced by Fred, who decided to do his best impression of an anarchist and just try and fuck that game up completely.
Yeah.
And,
Fred, you go on there, mate, and just absolutely let loose. Give every pass away possible whenever you get it. Make sure you touch. It's like you've got a trampoline springs on the bottom of him. And and if someone runs past you, just let him run.
When you've got the ball, make sure you don't pass to anybody in red. Just make sure, make sure you pass to the people in white.
And in that case, he nailed the assignment.
Yeah.
So, in fairness to him. Eriksen, Chive, do you want to weigh in on that to get the deciding vote? See, okay, fair enough. Bruno Fernandes, I don't want to be. I thought he was good today. I did. I thought he was decent. There's no outstanding things where I thought you fucked up there or you misplaced a pass. I just think it was kind of result of the 8 out of 10 of the team who were misperforming. I thought Bruno was one of the okay ones personally. What are we saying?
Yeah, that's the kind of these are the kind of performances I like to see from Bruno. He wasn't overzealous, in the passing. He didn't give the ball away too many times. He made a lot of really good decisions. I mean, there were times obviously he did his own Bruno thing, but I like it. I don't need him to be, this crazy guy that does all the fancy flicks. I just like it when he connects the dots, and I think I see that more when Eriksen plays. I was really happy with Bruno's performance today. I mean, I wish he got that goal just to, to cap it off in general. But I'll give him a C plus.
Okay. I've gone B minus. Sam, do you want to decide in?
Yeah, I'll go B minus. I thought he was really good first half. I thought he dropped off a little bit second half, but like Chivy said, if that goal would have gone in, it probably would have pushed him up. It would have been 100%. Nice to see and just kill that game off. But again, I think he was trying, but just the rest of the team was sort of falling apart around him. He didn't have that sort of Ericsson fell off, so he didn't have that sort of partner behind him. Casemiro was all over the place, so he didn't have that behind him.
That's what I mean.
And then he had to deal with Fred, who was just trying to burn the stadium to the ground around him. So
the assist for Rashford as well, by the way, which was the weight of the pass was perfect. So
yeah, I'll go B-.
Yeah, let's not forget as well, Bruno's not 100% fit.
No.
And I could tell there were times when sometimes like Bruno would chase you down. It doesn't matter where you're going. And there were a few times when I saw he just let the player just go. And I was like, he's
he's not coming into it.
Yeah.
He must have had some serious spray on his foot to play anyway, because that like a pretty nasty injury from against Brighton. Anthony, D, can we move on? Just I don't know. D.
I think Chivy covered it earlier. D.
Yeah, absolutely. Marcus Rashford, C+. Do we think got a goal, but then was...
it would have been a C, but I think with the goals, C+.
Yeah. He's like you said, Nick. He gets a goal, but then he just isn't involved for like a lot of the game, and just doesn't quite get there. And then, like Chivy said, in the second half, he was just doing stupid things where you're just like, "What are you doing? Why are you making this decision? Why?" Like, it was, and like Chivy, I'm getting to the point where I have to stop getting angry, because if I don't, I'm just gonna be screaming at the TV every 5 minutes, and it's not good. So yeah, C+.
Blood pressure FC. Last rating, Jadon Sancho. I thought he was better today. People might disagree with me. Got his goal, taken very nicely, but I think I'd put him in the same camp as Rashford, to be honest. C+, just slightly above average.
Yeah. At least I finally saw Jadon Sancho make a successful tackle.
I know, yeah.
He didn't pull out of it. Did he not pull out of it?
No, he made a tackle in front of our box as well. Like, he stole the ball off. I think it was off. I can't remember who it was, but I was like, that's Jadon? What? So yeah, slowly but surely. C plus. What did you say? C plus.
C plus. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go C plus, because he got a goal, nice little goal. Did better. Was involved in more, but again, like Rashford, dropped off. I think most of the team actually dropped off in the second half. So if he would have played like he did in the first half for the rest of the second half, probably would have got up to a B-. But yeah, C plus.
Yeah. Much like the team were in the second half, we are dragging ourselves across towards the end of this review of the game. Hopefully, I know the results a little bit shit. We didn't lose the game, something maybe to take a positive from it. We've got some tough fixtures coming up. Aston Villa on the weekend. We've just got to drag ourselves across the line now. Just get top 4. We've already won the Carabao, and then whatever happens in the FA Cup final.
Try not get dicked in the FA Cup final.
Yeah. Whatever happens,
a respectable 1-0 loss.
Yeah. Let's just hopefully we can only hope. To be fair,
no more than 2 goals, please.
Yeah. We'll see you guys. What day are we on today? Thursday, Friday. What day is it tomorrow? Press conference usually, because you got Villa on Sunday, I think, and then a bit of a breaking news show as well. So there's content tomorrow, there's content Saturday, content Sunday. As always, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. This has been Sam, this is Chiver, I am Nick, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.